Did you know that 74% of Americans wouldn't make it 48 hours in a real emergency? And if the supply chain collapses again, like it did during the pandemic, grocery shelves could be wiped clean in just hours. In today's video, I'm revealing 13 must-have survival items that most people overlook until it's too late. I've spent weeks researching, talking to preppers, ex-grocery managers, and even FEMA experts, and what I've uncovered is eye-opening. Whether you're a snack-loving foodie or someone who remembers the chaos of 2020, this list is for you. Drop a comment below. What's the last thing you saw vanish from store shelves? Let's dive in and get you prepared for anything. 1. Water, the lifeline you can't overlook. Let's start with the most obvious survival essential: water. I know, you're probably thinking, well, duh, everyone knows that, but here's the thing. Most people don't store nearly enough, and they don't think beyond a couple of water bottles tucked under the sink. That's not going to cut it when the taps stop running, and trust me, it happens faster than you think. If the power goes out, water treatment plants can fail, and suddenly, that cute little bottle of Dasani in your pantry isn't going to last long. So, how much water do you actually need? According to FEMA, you should have at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for a minimum of 3 days. That's the bare minimum. If you're a family of 4 with a dog, you're looking at 12 gallons just to get through 3 days. And let's be real, most of us don't have the space to store a mini water warehouse in our homes. So, what's the solution? Portable water filters, purification tablets, and tools like a LifeStraw are absolute game changers. These allow you to turn questionable water sources like a murky puddle or a nearby stream into something drinkable. It's not just about having water, it's about having safe water. And here's a pro tip: water doesn't last forever. Over time, plastic bottles can degrade, and algae can grow if they're not sealed properly. Rotate your water supply every 6 months and label bottles with dates so you don't forget. Don't forget about your pets either. They need hydration just as much as you do. Add an extra half gallon per pet to your emergency stash. If you're tight on space, think creatively. You can line your bathtub with clean plastic bags or use water storage bladders to store larger quantities. It might sound odd, but when the grid goes down, you'll be glad you did. Also, keep smaller bottles of water handy for quick grab-and-go situations, like if you need to evacuate in a hurry. Trust me, you don't want to be lugging around a giant jug of water when you're trying to move fast. Finally, remember that water is heavy. A gallon weighs about 3 pounds, so plan accordingly. Having a mix of large storage containers and smaller, portable options is the way to go. Water isn't just a survival essential, it's the foundation of everything else. Without it, nothing else on this list will matter. 2. Non-perishable food. Fuel for the first few days. Next up is food, and while it might seem like another no-brainer, there's a lot more to it than just grabbing a few cans of soup and calling it a day. When the power's out and the grocery store shelves are empty, your usual go-to meals, like avocado toast or fresh salads, aren't going to happen. That's why having a stash of non-perishable food is critical. So what should you stock up on? Start with canned goods like beans, tuna, tomatoes, and soups. These are versatile, long-lasting, and easy to prepare. Then add shelf-stable staples like rice, pasta, oatmeal, and peanut butter. Don't forget about quick energy options like protein bars, granola, or even ramen packets. The key is to stock items that have a long shelf life but are also things you'll actually eat. There's no point in hoarding food you can't stand, especially when you're already stressed. One thing people often overlook is food rotation. You can't just buy a bunch of cans and forget about them. Check expiration dates regularly and use what you have before it goes bad. Replace items as you use them to keep your stash fresh. This way, your emergency pantry doesn't turn into a time capsule from 5 years ago. Variety is also important. Sure, you can survive on crackers and canned peas, but morale matters. Keep some comfort foods on hand like chocolate, coffee, or your favorite snacks. It might sound trivial, but when everything feels chaotic, a little treat can go a long way in lifting your spirits. Now let's talk about cooking. If the power's out, how are you going to prepare that pasta or heat up a can of chili? A camping stove, portable grill, or even a simple manual can opener can be lifesavers. Don't forget to stock up on fuel for your cooking devices and make sure you know how to use them safely. Special dietary needs are another thing to consider. If someone in your household is gluten-free, vegan, or diabetic, make sure your emergency stash includes options for them. The same goes for babies and pets. Don't forget formula, baby food, and pet food. Emergencies don't discriminate, and being prepared means thinking about everyone in your household. Finally, keep a small stash of food in your car or go bag. Emergencies don't always happen at home, and having a few meals packed away could make all the difference if you're stuck on the road or need to evacuate quickly. Remember, the goal isn't to live off these supplies forever, it's to get through the first few critical days when everything is upside down. 3. Flashlights and batteries, light when you need it most. Imagine this, it's nighttime, the power just went out, and you're stumbling around in the dark trying to find a flashlight. Your phone's flashlight might seem like a quick fix, but it drains your battery fast. If you can't charge it, you're out of luck. That's why having a reliable flashlight is non-negotiable. Not all flashlights are created equal. Skip the flimsy dollar store versions and invest in a sturdy LED flashlight. These are brighter, last longer, and can handle being tossed into a drawer or emergency bag without breaking. And don't forget the batteries. Store them separately in a labeled bag so you're not scrambling to find the right size when you need them most. For an even better option, consider a hand crank or solar-powered flashlight. Some models even come with USB ports to charge your phone in a pinch. This way, you're not reliant on batteries at all, which is a huge plus during extended outages. Placement is key. Keep one flashlight by your bed, another in your car, and maybe even one in the kitchen. When the lights go out, you'll want to have one within arm's reach. And while candles might seem like a romantic alternative, they're not ideal in a stressful situation. Open flames increase the risk of fire, especially if you're distracted or dealing with kids and pets. A flashlight might seem like a minor item compared to food or water, but when you're navigating a dark house during a storm or blackout, it becomes essential. Light isn't just about convenience, it's about safety, communication, and staying calm when things get chaotic. Foremost first aid kit, your emergency lifesaver. Let's talk about first aid kits. This is one of those things you don't think about until you really need it. Like when someone slices their finger open trying to open a can with a butter knife during a blackout. Injuries don't stop just because the power does, and having a well-stocked first aid kit can make all the difference. A good first aid kit is more than just a few Band-Aids and some cotton swabs. It should include antiseptic wipes, gauze pads, adhesive tape, pain relievers, allergy medications, tweezers, gloves, and even a basic first aid guide. You don't need to be a medical professional to use one, but having the right supplies on hand can turn a small problem into a manageable situation. Think about your household's specific needs. Do you have kids, pets, allergies, chronic conditions? Customize your kit accordingly. Add any prescription medications you rely on, like an EpiPen or insulin, and make sure to replace them before they expire. If you have pets, include items like pet-safe antiseptic and bandages. Accidents happen fast, especially during emergencies. A slip on a wet floor, a burn from lighting a candle, or even a sudden allergic reaction can escalate quickly if you're not prepared. And remember, during a crisis, hospitals might be overwhelmed and roads could be blocked. Having a first aid kit at home could save you a trip to the ER. Finally, keep smaller first aid kits in your car and go bag. Emergencies don't always happen at home, and having basic medical supplies on hand can be a lifesaver if you're on the move. A first aid kit isn't just a box of supplies, it's peace of mind in a crisis. 5. Battery powered, or hand crank radio. Your lifeline to the outside world. When you think of a radio, you might picture something from your grandpa's garage or an old camping trip. But don't underestimate this survival essential. In an emergency, when the power is out and your phone is dead, how are you supposed to stay informed? Whether it's a hurricane warning, a boil water advisory, or an evacuation notice, having access to real-time updates can make all the difference. That's where a battery-powered or hand crank radio comes in. These radios are more than just relics of the past, they're lifesavers. Many models are designed to pick up NOAA weather channels, which provide official emergency alerts straight from the source. This means you'll know what's happening as it unfolds, even if the internet and cell towers are down. And let's be honest, your smartphone isn't a reliable backup in these situations. Without Wi-Fi or cell service, it's just a fancy paperweight. So what should you look for in a good emergency radio? First, make sure it's durable and easy to use. Some models come with extra features like built-in flashlights, USB ports for charging small devices, and even solar panels, so you're not entirely dependent on batteries. A hand crank option is especially useful because it allows you to generate power manually, ensuring you're never left in the dark, literally or figuratively. Placement is key. Keep one radio in your emergency kit, another by your bed, and maybe even one in your car. At this way, whether you're sheltering in place or evacuating, you'll have a reliable way to stay connected. Think of it as your personal lifeline to the outside world. You might not use it every day, but when disaster strikes, this small gadget could be the only thing keeping you informed and safe. In an emergency, information is just as critical as food or water. Knowing what's coming can give you the edge you need to protect yourself and your loved ones. So before you dismiss this as old-fashioned, ask yourself, when the grid goes down and silence fills the air, will you be ready to listen? 6. Multi-tool or Swiss Army knife, your pocket-sized problem solver. If you've ever watched a survival show or even just tried to fix something around the house, you know the value of a good multi-tool or Swiss Army knife. This little gadget is like having an entire toolbox in your pocket, and during an emergency, it can be a total game changer. From cutting rope to opening cans, tightening screws, or even making small repairs, a multi-tool is one of the most versatile items you can own. Let's break down why this is a must-have. Emergencies often bring a lot of unexpected challenges. Things break, supplies need to be opened, and sometimes you just need a quick fix to keep things running smoothly. A quality multi-tool can handle all of that and more. Most models include essentials like pliers, a sharp blade, screwdrivers, a bottle opener, and even a can opener. Some advanced versions go a step further, offering features like a glass breaker, seatbelt cutter, or even small scissors. The beauty of a multi-tool is its portability. It's small, lightweight, and easy to stash in your car, go bag, or even your pocket. You don't need to lug around a full toolbox when you've got one of these handy. And here's the best part. You don't have to spend a fortune to get a good one. Even a basic model, under $20, 0 cents, can cover most of your needs. If you're willing to invest a bit more, you can find options with added features like LED lights or rulers. Think about where you'll need it most. Keep one in your car for roadside emergencies, another in your emergency kit at home, and maybe even one in your backpack if you're the outdoorsy type. The versatility of a multi-tool makes it invaluable in any situation, whether you're dealing with a power outage, a camping trip gone wrong, or a full-blown disaster. In short, a multi-tool isn't just a gadget, it's peace of mind in your pocket. When life throws you a curveball, this little device can help you handle it with ease. Don't wait until you're in a jam to realize how much you need one. 7. Emergency blanket. Small but mighty. At first glance, an emergency blanket might not seem like a big deal. After all, it's just a thin, shiny sheet of material, right? But don't let its simplicity fool you. This little lifesaver can make a huge difference when things go south. Whether you're stuck in your car during a winter storm, camping in unexpected cold weather, or dealing with a power outage in the dead of winter, an emergency blanket is a must-have. So what makes these blankets so special? They're made from ultra-thin, reflective material that's designed to trap up to 90% of your body heat. This means they can keep you warm even in freezing conditions. They're also windproof, waterproof, and incredibly lightweight, making them easy to carry and store. Unlike regular blankets, they won't soak through if they get wet, and they're far less bulky. But warmth isn't the only thing these blankets are good for. They're incredibly versatile. You can use one as a ground cover to keep yourself dry, as a makeshift rain poncho, or even to block drafts by taping it over a window. In a pinch, you can also use it to signal for help. The reflective surface is highly visible and can catch the attention of rescuers. Keep a few emergency blankets in strategic places, one in your car, one in your go bag, and one in your home emergency kit. They're so compact that you can even stash one in your purse or backpack without taking up much space. And because they're so affordable, there's no excuse not to have a few on hand. In an emergency, staying warm isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. Hypothermia can set in quickly, especially if you're wet or exposed to the elements. An emergency blanket might not look like much, but when the temperature drops, you'll be glad you have it. 8. Fire starter. The power of flame. Fire is one of humanity's oldest survival tools, and for good reason. In an emergency, fire means warmth, light, and the ability to cook food or purify water. It can even be used to signal for help if you're stranded. But here's the thing, just having a pack of matches or a lighter isn't enough. What if they get wet or run out of fuel? That's why a reliable fire starter is an essential part of any emergency kit. There are several types of fire starters to choose from, and each has its own advantages. Waterproof matches are a great option for wet conditions, while butane lighters with wind-resistant shields are perfect for windy environments. For the ultimate in reliability, consider a ferro rod. These metal rods produce a shower of sparks when scraped with steel, and they work even when wet. They're durable, long-lasting, and incredibly effective. But having a fire starter is only half the battle. You also need something to ignite. Dry tinder is essential, and you can make your own by soaking cotton balls in petroleum jelly. These catch fire easily and burn long enough to get a real flame going. Many fire starter kits come with pre-made tinder, so you're ready to go right out of the box. Storage is key. Don't keep all your fire-starting tools in one place. Distribute them between your car, go bag, and home emergency kit. This way, no matter where you are, when disaster strikes, you'll have the tools you need to start a fire. Fire isn't just about survival, it's about empowerment. When the lights go out and the temperature drops, being able to create a flame can make all the difference. It's a skill as old as humanity itself, and in an emergency, it's one you'll be glad you mastered. 9. Keep cash handy. Relying solely on digital payment options can leave you in a bind when systems are down due to power outages, internet failures, or banking disruptions. Credit cards, debit cards, and apps like Venmo or Apple Pay become useless in scenarios where electronic point-of-sale terminals are unavailable. This is where having cash, cold, hard cash, proves invaluable. ATM machines go offline, banks freeze operations, and even small stores may revert to cash-only sales. Without cash on hand, procuring essential items like food, water, or fuel becomes nearly impossible. More importantly, larger denominations are less practical during emergencies. A cashier may not be able to break a $100 bill when buying a loaf of bread. To prepare, keep a reserve of $50 0 cents to $100 0 cents in small denominations such as 1s, 5s, and 10s. Store this emergency cash in a secure yet accessible location such as a fireproof safe or even a concealed compartment in your home. It's also wise to carry smaller amounts in your wallet or vehicle glove box for on-the-go emergencies. Well, folks, what are we going to do with all the emergencies? Consider dividing the cash into different bundles, keeping some at home and some in other key locations like your travel bag or workplace. This prevents you from being completely cut off if one stash is inaccessible. Think of cash as a universal backup plan. Even in a technologically advanced world, it remains vital when infrastructure falters. Don't underestimate its buying power when card readers and apps fail. 10. Secure important documents. While cash helps you buy necessities during a crisis, important documents serve as your lifeline for identity, ownership, and financial proof. These papers might not seem crucial day to day, but in the chaotic aftermath of an emergency, they're often the key to rebuilding your life. Imagine needing to prove your identity to receive aid or processing an insurance claim for damages but lacking the proper paperwork. Documents you should always keep include government IDs, like passports and driver's licenses, birth certificates, property deeds, medical records, insurance policies, and legal agreements such as custody documents or power of attorney papers. These documents verify who you are, what you own, and your rights during a crisis. However, relying solely on paper or storing them haphazardly in a drawer is risky. Fires, floods, or rushed evacuations can destroy or misplace them. Instead, adopt a two-tiered approach. First, digitize everything. Scan and securely upload these documents to cloud storage services that you can access remotely from any internet-connected device. Emailing the files to yourself provides an additional layer of redundancy. Second, create physical copies and store them in a durable, waterproof, and fireproof folder or safe. Include an emergency contact list with names, phone numbers, emails, and even physical addresses in this package. Accessing your support network shouldn't depend on your phone's battery. Don't neglect comparatively smaller but vital details, such as keeping your documents updated. Out-of-date insurance policies, expired IDs, or missing proof of ownership can cause unnecessary delays. Planning for the worst ensures you're prepared to recover faster once the storm passes. 11. Stock up on medications. If you or someone in your household relies on regular medications, this should be a top concern in your emergency planning. Interruptions in the supply chain, pharmacy closures, and medical shortages during disasters are common and can quickly escalate into life-threatening situations. Start by assessing your current medication needs. This includes not only prescription drugs, but also over-the-counter essentials like painkillers, allergy medicine, and digestive relief. Aim to have at least a 7-day supply on hand, though ideally a 2-week reserve is better. Speak to your healthcare provider about the possibility of getting an extended supply. Some insurance policies accommodate this with proper documentation. Storage plays a critical role as well. Medicines should be kept in a cool, dry place, away from moisture and light, which can degrade them. A portable, labeled container works well for emergency purposes. Ensure that medications with specific storage requirements, such as insulin, are adequately accounted for with backup solutions like portable coolers. Always label your medications clearly. If the original bottle's label becomes unreadable, it can result in dangerous dosage errors. A printed list of names, dosages, and usage instructions for every medication kept in your emergency document kit acts as a safety net. For specialized medical equipment such as inhalers, EpiPens, or glucose monitors, ensure backups are available and regularly check expiration dates. After all, expired medical supplies are no help in a crisis. Taking the extra step to include copies of your prescriptions can also save you in a pinch, allowing for immediate replacements from any pharmacy in the region. Prioritizing medication preparedness safeguards not only your health, but also your peace of mind during challenging times. 12. Maintain sanitation supplies. When running water stops or plumbing becomes unusable, maintaining hygiene is no longer a convenience, it's a necessity to prevent illness. Sanitation supplies are fundamental to your survival toolkit, ensuring you and your family stay clean and healthy when living conditions become less than ideal. Your emergency sanitation kit should include essential items such as soap, hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, and garbage bags. And to those, add toothpaste, mouthwash, toilet paper, tissues, and feminine hygiene products tailored to your household's specific needs. Simple tools like a bucket fitted with a toilet seat lid can also offer makeshift sanitation if your home's bathroom becomes inaccessible. It's also worth including disposable gloves, protective masks, and even bleach for disinfecting surfaces or sterilizing water. While these might sound like overkill now, they become indispensable in extended crises where disease prevention is key. Store these items in waterproof containers and keep hygiene kits in multiple locations. One set at home, one in your vehicle, and an additional portable bag for potential evacuations. Range supplies so they're easily accessible, and replace them periodically to ensure freshness and effectiveness. Good hygiene in emergencies reduces the spread of germs in close living quarters, especially when group gatherings in shelters or homes can't be avoided. Staying clean might not just impact comfort levels, but your overall survival as well. 13. Don't forget a manual can opener. While it might seem trivial, a manual can opener is one of the most practical and underestimated tools in emergency preparedness kits. Canned goods like beans, vegetables, soups, and meats are staples in survival food storage. But without a working can opener, even the most well-stocked pantry is rendered useless. Why manual? Because electric can openers rely on power, which is often the first thing to go in a crisis. A manual option doesn't need electricity or batteries and will reliably get the job done no matter the circumstances. However, not all manual openers are created equal. Opt for one that's sturdy, easy to grip, and designed to leave smooth, safe edges on cans. To further safeguard against issues, keep at least 2 manual openers, one in your kitchen and another in an emergency kit. Having a backup ensures you're not stranded if one breaks or goes missing. Additionally, practice using the opener as part of your preparedness plan. Every household member should know how to use it to avoid fumbling in a high-stress moment. For added convenience, consider a multifunctional tool with an integrated can opener that can also perform other tasks, such as opening bottles or acting as a prying tool. A small investment of a manual can opener carries a big payoff when canned food becomes your primary source of sustenance. It's a simple tool, yet vital for any emergency scenario. These points are more than just preparation tips. They're lifelines that can get you through the toughest situations with confidence and resilience. Emergencies rarely come with warnings, so the time to prepare is now. By focusing on these essentials, you'll have a solid foundation to face unexpected challenges and protect yourself and your family when it matters most.